Welcome everybody to the latest episode of Real Spill with Shyne Shin. This your boy Shyne checking in. Today is May 14th, 2022, and we here to deliver the news stories of the day that will affect your world tomorrow. I'm gathered here today with my homeboy Gutta. Gutta, say what's up to the people, bro.
What's up, man? It's sad, bro.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful sad day. It's kind of cloudy outside right now, but it's still beautiful because we here, we breathing, and everybody's doing a-okay. The Real Spill news show is about giving you the news story from our perspective, trying to give you a full 360 viewpoint of the world today. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to jump on our first story. Our first story back in Atlanta, Georgia. They done locked up Thugger. We talked about it the other day. But I saw this article on Variety and I thought it was interesting.
What's up?
Young Thug's lyrics used against him in court. It's unprecedented racism, legal experts say. I'm going to read the article for you. Hip hop, like any art form, is a means of creative expression.
Right.
And while rap music is often semi autobiographical, when Kanye West recorded in 2018, I thought about killing you, premeditated murder, or when 18 years earlier, Eminem boasted of putting his dead wife in the trunk of a car, surely those words weren't meant to be literally.
Right.
But what happens when lyrics are used as evidence in a criminal trial? Grammy-nominated artist Young Thug was arrested this week on the RICO charges, but as federal prosecutors aim to prove the Atlanta rapper's involvement in a large-scale criminal operation, they're using his own music against him. Oh man, he had a lot of drugs in his house. We already know. They saying that he gave the word to go ahead and try to assassinate Lucci in the Fulton County Jail. They say he rented a car that was used to kill another rival gang member. And to me, like, that's one of the dumbest things in the world. Like, I'm gonna rent a car, put my name on a car for you to go kill somebody in that car. Like, that just don't sound like it was a well thought out plan. You know, now if I'm gonna rent my homeboy a car, I'm gonna tell him make sure you don't do nothing in this car. You understand what I'm saying? Like, but in my day, when niggas was doing things of this caliber, you would go get a fiend car.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Go get you a fiend car, leave that fiend car somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Woo to woo. But I mean, renting a whole car for this, that just seemed like that was just dumb if that's what they did. But they using his lyrics against him, and man, I don't see how that should be fair game, man. Because if that's the case, man,
A lot of rap need to be locked up.
man, I know Lil Wayne that killed 30 people per song, but I don't believe he has actually ever killed anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at all of this stuff as entertainment. You know,
Right.
John Singleton, he makes movies. He made movies while he was still with us. You know what I'm saying? And in his movies, there was violence, and the entertainment aspect is always gonna be violence and entertainment because that's what sells as of right now. You know what I mean?
Like
Now,
that.
now then, for the DA to say that she believed that Young Thug is responsible for 85% of the violent crime in Atlanta, like, just her saying that ought to be another throw the case out, because ain't no way in the hell that man, it ain't no way that one gang is responsible for 85% of the violence. So you telling me everybody else just sit down and be cool? Like, everybody else ain't nobody worried about getting no money, ain't nobody
Right.
doing nothing. You know, man, it's just, to me, it just don't seem like you ought to be able to use that, because, you know, man, if I'm Young Thug, I get off in the courtroom and say, I write my lyrics off of the newspaper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When I see something happen in the newspaper, I can go in the booth and write me a rap about that. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's going to sell because it's authentic. People can go back and look it up. You know, that would be my argument. None of this stuff I say on record is true.
Right.
You know, and you know, man, when I was thinking back in my mind, man, you know, this whole case has been kind of sticking with me. And I was like, you know, Young Thug bought Slime City about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he planned on putting a lot of houses in his city. He wanted to have a water park there. You know, he really was trying to make a nice place for his people. You understand? So I got to think that, you know, other people couldn't like that a whole lot.
No, they couldn't, man.
You know what I'm saying? I would think for one, you know, Young Thug finna build a water park. If I'm Whitewater, I'm worried.
Yeah.
Cause
Right.
people not gonna come to Whitewater if Young Thug got a water park right down the street.
I know, right? He might be there.
He just might be there. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if I'm the people that run those industries, I'm worried.
Right.
And I want to get this guy out the way. So, if I'm listening to his lyrics and I'm doing all this, I'm like, okay, we can get this guy out the way. You know, it's a shame, man, because whether they want to admit it or not, the rap industry is holding Atlanta up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All the tech industries and all that stuff been left. That stuff came early 2000, left 2010.
Right.
All the Earthlinks and all those tech companies that came here at first when Atlanta first started booming, most of them gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The rap industry and the black culture is what's keeping Atlanta on top. And when you start attacking those people, what you think gonna happen? The same way Boosie them left Baton Rouge because they felt like Baton Rouge was coming against them, and they took the money out of that state.
Right.
So what you think? They gonna move to where they ain't gonna be treated like this, where they can just have their artistic freedom to say what they want to say. Now, I don't know if Young Thug do think he the Godfather and he sit up and he make calls and do all that right there. I don't know, cause I don't know the guy. Right. You know, but listening to him on interviews and listening to the stuff he say, like I've been watching Young Thug interviews since he was 19, 20 years old.
Right.
And the boy done showed amazing growth from the time he was 19 and 22. If you listen to his interviews now, like the boy done showed amazing growth, man. Like most people giving money at that time wouldn't be as grown of a person as Thug puts out to be that he is at this point in time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so I just can't. It to me it don't make sense. You got to be able to. Jeffrey Williams and Young Thug are two totally different people. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, man, people got to understand that. If you meet me in real life, I ain't gonna talk to you that much.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
I'm not gonna talk to you this much. You meet me in real life, I'm a totally different person on this app. Y'all, once I get it set up where y'all can call it and everything, I talk to y'all all day on him. But the real life person, I don't want to deal with all that, man. And you got to understand. The thing that these people ain't bringing into case, man, is that these people are artists. Yeah, it look real, it sound real to most of the children, it's real.
Right.
But they're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not, man. If I wasn't on your radar for selling drugs before I became a hip-hop artist, you should know that I'm not selling drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Now, is it right to be glorifying it? I don't know what side of the fence to lay on that, because some people say he's glorifying the drug game, and other people would say he's telling the stories of what's going on in his neighborhood. The man from Cleveland Ave. Anybody know anything about Atlanta know Cleveland Ave ain't the place you want to be too late at night. No, unless you know somebody.
Right.
If you know somebody, you're straight. But if you over there outside and you don't want to be over there too late at night, might not want to be over there in the middle of the daytime. You know what I'm saying? And from my understanding, Young Thug was 11, 12 years old when them boys came from New Orleans down there during that Katrina thing, and he had to hold his neighborhood down. The OG was coming to him.
Right.
To hold the neighborhood down. You know what I'm saying? So the man been grown a long time. I know kids that had to be grown at 11, 12 years old. And I know what they like at 30. Most kids that had to be grown at 11, 12 years old, if they make it to 30-some years old without having no time, they are some of the most relaxed, calm people you can meet. They don't want no smoke. They done did all of that early in life. They don't want no smoke. And if you ask me, that's the kind of energy Thug put on. Now, I don't know because if we start getting it to where we can start prosecuting people for their stage names, doing stuff for they public personas, then we gonna go down a slippery slope. You know, I mean, as of right now, today, that dude that shot that person on that movie set, Alec Baldwin, he still ain't been charged with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the end of the day, he fired a gun that shot and killed somebody. And we know this for a fact.
Right.
And he ain't been charged with nothing because they was doing a movie. Everything Young Thug raps about is a verbal movie. He's painting a picture for you to let you see what his neighborhood and his world is like. It ain't necessarily fact by fact. Man, do you know how much shit you'd have to do in your lifetime to fill a whole album full of facts? And this man will put out 5 or 6, you understand what I'm saying? But for you to fill a whole album up with nothing but facts, man.
You do like the movie based on the true story.
Man, it ain't enough dirt one person can do to fill up a whole album on their dirt. You understand me?
How long have you been in the game, man?
Thug been rapping now, I think, since about 10 years. He about 10 years in the game, good 10, 11 years in the game. Yeah. And it looks like, from what they're saying, is that they started their investigation on him as soon as he became an artist. They say the investigation goes back to 2012. So, you know, again, to me, man, it be coming off as that police mad because you getting money, and they ain't. And they done seen you when you was just walking up and down the block, broke as fuck, and they could fuck with you all the time. And then now all of a sudden you pulling up in Bentleys and Ferraris and shit, and they still got that ragged ass car they got at home. You got 20 females trying to holler at you. They still got that fat woman at the house that's in their ear all the time. I think jealousy played a big role in Rollo getting locked up. You know what I'm saying? I think jealousy plays a big role in a lot of this stuff, bro. That's why a lot of times you hear about police taking money from the drug dealers, because they ain't mad that you selling drugs. They just mad that they ain't getting no money. You understand me? So, man, at the end of the day, man, I hope he got a great lawyer. I hope he got one that's ready to put his gloves on and do his thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Cause,
man, you know, I just don't believe that 12 people would sit on a jury and let you use this man's profession to lock him away. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you can't be scared to take that chance and let them 12 people tell you. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn, cause that's how they get you. They scare you. They tell you that if you go to trial now, you go to trial now, it's a good chance you might get life. But you can just take the deal and we'll let you go home in a year or two. You know what I'm saying? That's how they play you. And, you know, at the end of the day, it is a big chance you're taking, cause you know you can't never tell with juries. They can come back either way. And when you put me up against life or 1 or 2 years, I do these 1 or 2 and goddamn don't even worry about this thing no more.
Right.
But you know, man, we gonna keep thugging our prayers, man. We gonna keep the whole crew in prayers, man. You know what I'm saying? We as a people, we unlawfully prosecuted all the time, man, and you know, it just ain't nothing. It ain't nowhere we can go to talk about it. Ain't nothing we can get did about it. You know, man, I looked up civil rights attorneys, and most of them white guys over there in Atlanta, and I mean over there in Macon, and I'm just like, man, you know, we gotta start back raising doctors and lawyers, man. We got to stop making these kids think that all they can do is be an entertainer or a sports star. Like, we got to stop that, man. We need lawyers more than we need a lot of this other bullshit. We need some great lawyers to come up from the hood and who actually know the plight of the man. You know what I'm saying? We need some good representatives. We need some good senators. Like, we need to stop just trying to raise basketball stars and football stars and start raising good citizens.
Right.
You know, man, I was looking the other day. I shared a post on Facebook, man. It was a picture of African American people from 1941 in Putnam County, right, man. And it looked like we done went backwards, if you ask me. When I looked at that picture, man, everybody in that picture was well dressed. All the men had on suits and white shirts with the ties on. I'm talking about everything.
Everything looked good.
Everything looked good, man. Wasn't nobody out there this person from this side of town, so they mad at this person and that person.
Ain't nobody giving no evil eye in the background.
Ain't all the women getting along with each other, all the men getting along with each other, man. It's like we done went backwards. Cause see, the thing was, in 1940, we knew who the enemy was.
Right.
We knew we had to stick together, because if we didn't, something might could happen to us on the way home. Right. You know what I'm saying? But now, there I go with that again. I gotta cut that out. But, it's just, man, but right now, they got us where we so separated, man. It's just sad, bro. It's just sad. Like, in them 80 years, it feels like we done went backwards as a people. Now, on to more news. NAACP leaders want to know why Delaware state officials waited 3 weeks to discuss bus search. See what I'm talking about, man? See what I'm talking about? Now, the NAACP leaders dressed that first. I ain't never been colored a day in my life. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know who these people for. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Who the fuck are colored? You understand me?
Right.
You know, we gonna get there. I'm sorry for cussing, mama. But who is colored? Okay, that's the first thing. Now, instead of them trying to get to the bottom of it, they wasting precious time, effort, and resources on trying to figure out why the other people waited 3 weeks to discuss it. You got to understand.
Yeah.
To black people, getting pulled over by the police and treated wrong is just normal.
Right.
We deal with it. As long as then nothing lasts and happen behind it, we go home and just be glad that then nothing happened. We don't feel like it's nothing to call the news channel about. We don't feel like it's nothing that we need to call our senator about. Why? Because it happened to our cousin last week. Happened to our brother yesterday. It done happened to somebody else, or it done happened to you pretty often. So it ain't no big deal. Them kids probably didn't realize that it could be a big deal until somebody overheard them discussing it and they ran with it. Them kids probably thought it was nothing they could do behind it because they black in Georgia. That's why it took 3 weeks. It took 3 weeks for somebody to hear it who knew something was wrong with that. Because for the most part, it's just a normal traffic stop for us. That's just a normal traffic stop, man. I get pulled over, I can pretty much guarantee the dogs are coming to my car. I can pretty much guarantee it, bro. It ain't no way, shape, doubt in my mind. When I get pulled over, I'm gonna get searched for drugs. Man. Well, I ain't gonna, hold on. The older I get, the less likely it is to happen. I will say that. I ain't been pulled over in a while now, thank God, knock on wood and all that, right? The older I get, though, the less frequent it becomes. I will say that. I have to wear my gray. You know what I'm saying? Let them know I'm advanced in age. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I stick in my woman.
Man, I have to have little clues inside. If you're a black man, you have to set your car up a certain type of way to let these people know before they pull you over that you ain't a threat. You have to have little things in your window. You know, everything you put up in your car, it has to be strategic. You can't just be walking around. I ain't nowhere in the world I have a Black Lives Matter air freshener hanging from my window. Ain't no way in the world, bro. I just ain't even trying to put myself. Man. But that's what they dealing with up there in Delaware right now. They trying to figure out why it took so long. I hope they tune in to me. I just told them why.
Exactly.
The next story we got of the day, man, we got a story coming out of South Carolina. South Kakalaki. I was at Fort Jackson in South Carolina, man. Had a good time up there. South Carolina mom pleads guilty 32 years after baby found dead in a box. The woman accused in the death of Julie Valentine has pleaded guilty in court on Thursday to 3 charges. Man, in the last 2 days, we done had 2 white women that done did a crime, went 3 decades without having to deal with that crime, come back and get sentenced then. Like, that's nasty, man. You get to live your whole life out, and then go get good medical care at the end of it, because you finna go to that old folk home prison where it's gonna be pretty straight for you. Gonna be kind of like a nursing home that you can't leave. You know what I'm saying? Graham was originally charged with murder in the case, but that charge was dropped because medical examiners were unable to find out how the infant died. The judge has not made a decision on sentencing, instead ordering a pre-sentence investigation due to the unusual circumstances of the case. Man, it's a good chance that this lady might not do no time.
Is she locked up now or she at home?
She at home. They say they had a pre-sentencing investigation. But I ain't gonna say she at home till I read the rest of the case, but I'm pretty sure she at home. She with the child mama. The child was found February 13, 1990 by a man picking flowers to give to his wife on Valentine's Day.
Right.
Baby was in a cardboard box with bed sheets and rags, along with some garbage. The infant was full term. She was born 3 days before it was discovered. So she had a baby, didn't want nobody to know she had a baby, when left the baby in a cardboard box. It don't say how old she is now. I don't know how old she is. But she is free on bond at this point in time right here. She is a free lady. Our next story we got today, I believe it comes out of Boston. A Boston student threw boiling ramen water on a teacher. The principal never called 911. A 14-year-old student at a school in Boston is accused of throwing boiling hot water on one of his teachers earlier this month. Let's see, the teacher went to the principal, and the principal failed to call 911 for her. The teacher had told her student not to use a textbook to assist in microwaving ramen noodles, as the book would be ruined in the microwave. Following a disagreement, the student proceeded to stand up from his seat and pour his cup of boiling hot ramen noodles on the teacher.
Wow.
The student had used the water side of a bubbler rather than a microwave to initially heat his noodles. Man, see, man, some of these teachers got some great restraint, boy. You know, it's kind of like the Chris Rock, Will Smith walking up on me. I'm gonna assume we got a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't finna let nobody get in my kill zone. You know, in the military, they taught us anything in that kill zone, you got the authority. Baby, do we have any of those Newports around here? That would be great. Thank you, darling. But, man, the student being charged as a juvenile been charged for aggravated assault. She said she's still experiencing stinging in her neck, face, left ear, and left eye. You know, I'm gonna just...
Yeah, she finna super soon.
She should, because I don't understand why the principal wouldn't call the police. 14-year-old kid, high school, it just seemed like the first thing you're supposed to do is call the police. We'll never know what this kid looks like if he's a Caucasian. If he's a Caucasian, we'll never know what this kid look like. And that's just the bottom line of that. He's 14, he gonna get put on some probation.
What does she look like?
I think she was an African American lady.
Right.
She looked like she was a heavy set African American lady when I looked at it on another page. Now that boy Fred Savage, man, this our next story. We're gonna talk about old Fred for a minute, man. We're gonna take a little tangent too, man. But first thing about Fred, you know, they say Fred don't know how to act on the set. They say he being real rude and he yelling at folks and all this kind of stuff down, man. I don't really care about none of that. What I want to talk about is the fact that because they let the Wonder Year come back black, I believe that's a direct correlation to the good times coming back interracial. They gon' bring in, they got Tiffany Haddish playing the mama, Jonah Hill playing the daddy, and ain't no telling who these kids gonna be. I suggested Jaden Smith and Willow.
Dynamite.
Yeah, Jaden Smith need to be JJ. He need to be the new JJ. Say Dynamite. Instead of saying that, he'll say Tupac. Nah, man, we gonna leave them folks alone. I ain't talked about them in a couple weeks, man. Our next story though, Fred need to chill out though, brother. You don't nobody want to work with you in Hollywood no more. Long Island man admits to sexually abusing 8 young kids at his wife's at-home daycare.
Wow.
See, that's the same thing like the babysitter thing yesterday, man. People try to save a few dollars and take their children somewhere. Man, your children are your prime asset, man. You got to keep them safe at all times. And so if I taking my kid to a daycare, it's gonna be a certain. I ain't much. If I drop my kids off at your house, I know you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't just no daycare. I done heard about where this woman watching kids in her house and stuff. Like, no. If we drop you off here, then we got good references. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know. Apparently, this man was able to sexually abuse 8 young children at the home. They ranged in age from 3 to 10 years old, and he was able to do this between the years of 2010 and 2015 when the daycare got shut down. He was indicted of sexually abusing 6 children, but 2 more victims have came to the light since then. Man.
What the fuck the lady was?
Man, you know, man, if you watch Criminal Minds and all these other TV shows, a lot of the time the wife be in on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She knew her husband liked young children. That's why she opened the daycare so he could have a supply. You know what I'm saying? Like that what you need to go to the woman too, cause she had to know something and she was letting it go on. That be the problem. They'll punish the man, but they act like the woman was a victim too. Nah, she was a willing participant. Check on her. Everybody that worked in that daycare, everybody that had anything to do with that daycare need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now my next story, we going over here from coming out of Salt Lake City. Suspect lured tender date to Mueller Park with intent to murder her. Like, y'all please get off of Tinder. If you can't meet nobody on Facebook, man, like everybody else, just let it be. Just let it be, man. Because Tinder, man, it seems like serial killers are using Tinder for a shopping list. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, we done had a few stories where people done met on Tinder that ain't ended real good. You know, like, they say Buddy began stabbing her with the knife several times. She sustained a lot of injuries all over herself. She fought back and was able to get out the car. He stabbed her in the back while she ran. She was lucky that she ran across some people. You know what I'm saying? If them people hadn't been there, he would have finished her off. You know. Like, I don't even understand, man. How you let your situation, how you let yourself get that horny? The way you got to just randomly swipe somebody and go meet them and go have a thing. Like, how you let yourself get that backed up? Like, relieve yourself before it get to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let yourself get that backed up when you start making poor decisions. I understand now. You get a lot of nut back up. You get a lot of calm back up. You will start making some strange decisions. Don't let yourself get like that. God gave you another way out, man. You can handle it yourself. And if that ain't good enough for you, man, everybody got one person on their Rolodex that'll be glad to come goddamn see you.
My dude on Tinder, like, he sitting back swiping. I feel like killing a bitch tonight.
Yeah, man, them serial killers, man.
What's going through their mind?
Like you say and we say all the time, man, they done closed down a lot of these mental hospitals, man. And you know, man, stabbing from watching all these Criminal Minds shows and everything, the act of stabbing is almost like a sexual act to some people. You know, because there's a lot of men out there that can't get it up for real. Like it ain't no fallacy. Like it's a lot of men out there who really, what they call it, baby, who when they can't get the thing up, what they call that, they are, I can't think of the word for it right now. It's a word that you call a man that can't get it up. They'll substitute the stabbing for that and that'll make them calm. You know what I'm saying? They'll substitute the stabbing for that shit, man. There's a whole lot of mental health stuff going on out there. And you know, this is a mental health issue but you would want the police to come to this issue. Am I right or wrong?
Erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, the erectile dysfunction people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, and a lot of them Viagra might not work, man. You might not be able to goddamn take Viagra because you know Viagra was invented for a blood pressure medicine.
Right.
And then they messed around and found out that it makes your penis hard. And they figured instead of making blood pressure medicine that we might just make a few dollars off of it, we can make their dick harder. And we'll make a heap of money. And that's what they did. Virginia family found guilty of modern day equivalent of slavery of family member over 12-year period. These motherfuckers had their very own Cinderella. 3 family members from Midlothian were convicted and found guilty of charges stemming from using coercive measures to hold a woman against her will and work under unbearable conditions in their home for more than 12 years. Zahida Aman and 2 of her sons, Muhammad Shah, and them people there, were convicted on charges pertaining to forced labor. In 2019, claimed the 3 family members conspired to force a woman to clean their home and provide services from March 2002 until August 2014. The victim married one of her sons and through an arranged marriage in 2002 and thereafter lived in the family's home. Over the next 12 years, she was forced to perform domestic services at the home, such as cleaning the home, painting the house, and mowing the lawn, all while under the coercion of physical, verbal, and psychological abuse. The defendants exploited the victim's trust and inflicted cruel and inhumane physical abuse on her.
See, they from no country, man. They do them arranged marriages and shit.
Yeah, man. You know, that's why I really can't speak on a whole lot of this, man, because that might just be their culture, man.
Right.
Stuff that we feel like strange and stuff, man, that just might be their culture. I don't know. I mean, she was in an arranged marriage. I don't really know how the ins and outs, none of that right there. But shit, they going to prison behind it though. My next story, moving on to Arizona, man. I ain't got a lot to say about that. A school counselor had sex with a teen student. Now, when she came to her interview with that purple shit in her hair, I would have known that she wasn't gonna be able to be around the kid, you know. And as a parent, if I come to the school and the school counselor got all these colors in her hair and stuff, like I'm gonna think something's up. You know, nah, man. The school counselor, the person that's supposed to advise my baby about her future and help her to pick the right decisions for her future. You don't look professional at all. And man, I know we in a different world now, but you're supposed to be able to do whatever, look whatever, act however. But no, man, it's still a certain thing as professionalism.
Right.
You know, it's still a certain thing as being classy.
Right.
And I don't care how you twist it, how you turn it. Classy gonna always be classy. You know, I don't think these little short ass pants these boys wearing now is classy. You supposed to be going to a formal event and your grown ass got on some capri. You a grown ass man and you got on some fucking capri. Now I had it explained to me by a young guy. A young guy told me it's so that everybody can see all your shine. They need to be able to see your socks, your shoes, everything. And I told him, well, young fella, back in my day, we'll just pull that pant leg up, let you check it out real quick and slide it back down. You know what I'm saying? See, the problem with it, y'all living for everybody else. Back then, we wanted to be fresh for us. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking about, am I going to end up on a blog somewhere? Is somebody going to take my picture? No, man. We were just getting fresh for us. So that was the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I can't believe y'all posting socks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that serious. It's that serious, bro. But, yeah, man, this counselor over here, she doing her thing. She ain't in jail right now. She out on bond, but it's a lot of this going on, man. Y'all need to be real close proximity with your children. Talk to them every day. Go through their cell phone. Find out who they talking to. You know what I'm saying? Cause buddies, the people that we used to could trust the most ain't really that trustworthy no more, it appears. But cause they letting anybody do it. They letting anybody come through and do it. All right. Go to we finna get ready to kick into the second part of our show.
Right.
Everything's going great so far today. Our next story is our second headline of the day. Russia could strike back at the West by calling on its network of white supremacist groups to commit terror attacks there, analysts warn. Now, how you feel about that? I'm gonna throw that one to you first. How you feel about that?
Man, really got the power to do that? But shit.
Well, you know, Russia been behind a lot of this stuff, if you ask me. Russia's been behind a lot of the knowledge and the different information that's been unearthed about black people in this country before Columbus. A lot of that information is also coming from the Russians. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the Russians do is, Russia's responsible for a lot of the turmoil in this country right now. Mm-hmm. They be on the white people, on the white supremacist pages, giving them memes and stuff to post with fake news and all this kind of stuff on it, but they know it's gonna get them excited. And they post stuff in our stuff too. They want the black people and the white people of this country going at each other. They want America to go through another civil war because they feel like they'll be the winners at the end of the day if they can split us up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part that a lot of these so-called America First people can't see past. All they see is the whiteness of it all. You know, Russia's one of the last places where it's pretty much damn near all white over there. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the last countries that's still like that. You know, and so they look at Russia as almost like a motherland. The way we look at goddamn Africa, the motherland, they kind of look at Russia that way. You understand? So you get Russia to telling these people, which I think they've been behind a heap of these uprisings and everything. You know what I'm saying? The whole, when them people was out there with torches and all these kind of things, I think a lot of that has to do with the Russian bots helping these causes out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these groups been around for a long time, but they just was able to get the publicity and the money they needed recently, pretty fairly recently. So when they say that they will be able to convince people to do that shit, I take it completely serious, man, because they've been doing it, man, and just not trying to be controversial or nothing, man, but most white supremacists ain't that intelligent. I mean, it's just facts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you're on one end of an extreme. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not very educated people. You know what I'm saying? You can fool them with some of anything. They some of them people that they see it on the internet is true. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with people like that, it's easy to fool them one way or another. You know, just post a couple memes and you have them off and running. So, you know, y'all stay vigilant out there as always. You know, the Second Amendment is big for us, the right to bear arms. If you still got your right to bear arms, you need to be bearing as many arms as you can. Now, my next story, very distressing video. Police pull a black woman aside and pat her down and search her inappropriately. It's hard to feel comfortable whenever you're pulled over by a police officer. For some, the first thought in their mind is, how much is this going to cost me? For others, it's, will I be victimized today? That's the way most black Americans feel. You know, some health data reported that black Americans are most likely to experience fatal police violence. I don't even know why they have to do statistics for that. Like, we know that. That's stuff that we just know. Now, a clip from a white male police officer performing a body search on a black female in 2019 is recirculating on Reddit. the white dude was touching the woman all over and had his hands like this. They supposed to patch it down like this.
Right.
But he was doing it like this. He was getting his feel on. They say, but it was a trainer. Mm-hmm. Now, this particular lady, she sued the police department. They gave her $50,000 now. $50,000, that's all she got.
That was she accepted.
That was she accepted. You're right. That was she accepted. First offer, she took the money and ran. Now, but even though he had that situation, they still let him be on the force. He was a police officer up until when he got down. He was started stealing drugs and getting the drugs to his old lady. That's when he got fired from the police department. But he pled guilty to the charges, paid a $500 fine, and had to have 2 years of conditional discharge from the department. Did you hear what the fuck I said? What he got for drug trafficking and seizing marijuana while handling cases and giving it to a woman, he got a $500 fine and 2 years where he couldn't be a police officer at that department. Now, if I get caught with a dime bag, I'm going to have to do more than that. You understand what I'm saying? But this man is the police. He's supposed to know the law better than I do. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to know the law way better than I do.
He do. That's why he got that charge.
He get a slap on the goddamn wrist, man.
Ain't go neck though. Do the neck kind of.
Joe Biden brags about funding the police. I told y'all he wasn't trying to fuck y'all. He said the answer is not to defund the police. The answer is to fund the police with the resources and training they need to protect our communities. Cold word for we finna lock some more niggas up. Anytime they go to talking about protecting the community, who you think they gonna protect it from?
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it's time we stop depending on these politicians. For one, man, we got to go back to how we used to do self-policing, man. You know, it's like they said on The Wire. Mm-hmm. The police don't give a fuck about the drugs for the most part. It's the violence that they have to come to the hood for. If you can stop the violence from occurring in the hood, the police will come a whole lot less often. Right. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, I can't stop that. But, that's the problem. It's the bodies, the violence, the situation. That's what bring the police there. That's what had you getting treated wrong. Come together, man. We need plans, man. We need a leader. More than anything, we need a leader, bro. Oh, man, but we ain't had no music playing in the background all day today. What that was?
Oh, jamming.
Oh, man. Don't nobody want to hear Joe Biden. My next story, man. What's my next story? Real estate agent sued for having sex romp instead of selling home. One couple was shocked to discover that their real estate broker allegedly got intimate at their residence just after it hit the market. The real estate market had a lot of issues this year with the woo. Man, I don't know. I mean, if you I bet a lot of people do that, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet a lot of real estate agents do that. They just mess around and had security cameras, but they should have known to check the house for cameras before they got to doing all kind of crazy stuff, man. But, man, as long as they clean up, like, what's the real damage? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, in order for you to put your all into selling my house, you might really need to love my house. So I might, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I don't know, man. I just thought that was kind of wild. The next story we got coming at you real hard and fast. There's no way to hide history. Teachers react to Georgia's law limiting discussion of race. The new law signed by Governor Brian Kemp seeks to prevent divisive concepts and ideologies from invading the classroom and removes obscene materials from school libraries. Now, that's a lot right there, man. divisive concepts and ideologies from invading the classroom, and removes obscene materials from school libraries. What obscene material was in the school library? See, for some reason, man, these parents right now don't understand the difference in when we were kids and when our kids are kids. There's a big difference. You know, when I was a kid going through 3rd and 4th grade, and the teacher told me, because Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492.
Right.
You
And the
know,
song about it.
when she told me that, I had no way to fact check her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I, for the longest, thought Christopher Columbus came straight to America. I ain't know that he never did actually make it to America. He was down there in like South America somewhere or something.
Right.
I had no idea that he never actually made it to the United States, because that ain't how they say it. You know what I'm saying? And when I took my test, if I wanted to pass my test, I had to write that for the answer.
Yeah.
If I wanted to get the answer right now. So I couldn't question my teacher at that time. There was no way for me to question what she told me was the truth. These kids not, hey man, you teach them something. While you teaching it to them, they can be on their phone and getting some more research on
Google
it.
it right quick.
And they'll tell you, nah, I'll teach. That ain't what Google said. So, the way they taught me American history,
Right.
they can't teach it to these kids like that, because these kids got a whole computer in their pocket. They got facts out there. So while you trying to still get the teachers to teach the shit the way they used to teach it and woo to woo, that's got to be hard on the teacher to be getting called a lie all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they had no problem with critical race theory when it was in favor of white people. Because the history that they taught us, it was critical race theory too, but it was just in favor of white people. If you went to history class, back when I went to history class, no white people did nothing wrong. They did all the great things in history. They discovered everything. They did everything.
Right.
And they had no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? They had no problem with that. They never taught us anything about black people before 1600. Only thing we ever learned about black people, we were slaves, and then on and whatever going on right now. They don't tell you Egyptians were black. Nigga, Egypt sitting right on top of Africa. But if you watch the movies and everything, these folk white. And so coming up, you don't put the 2 and 2 together. Because they ain't teaching it to you like that. They call the Middle East now, man. That's all Africa. That's all Africa, man. But they use these code words and these different names, and they rename stuff. Africa ain't supposed to be named Africa. They done named Africa after a white dude. You know what I mean? We call it Africa because of a white dude. It's supposed to be Ethiopia. And now since we know better, why we still calling it Africa? But they'll change other mundane shit that don't matter. You understand me? It's just, man, black children need to know that their history don't start with slavery, so therefore they can know that their future don't end with slavery. You know what I'm saying? You got to know that without Africans, Europe would still be in the Dark Ages. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a reason them people's history was so fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, Africa saved them people. You know, them people owe a debt. The Pope prays to the black Madonna. He don't pray to the white Madonna. The Pope every day gets on his knees in front of a black statue and prays to it. He don't pray to Jesus. He don't pray to nothing. He prays to a black woman every day. That's who the Pope kneel down in front of every day. But over here, we are more idolize the Pope than who he praying to. You know? Man, it's wild. It's wild, man. We're going to move on because time getting short with us today, man. It might have been a little long-winded. Actress Vivica A. Fox under fire for calling Kevin Samuels' death karma. See that bitch down, man. I'm excuse me, mama. Excuse me, mama. Nah. Vivica A. Smith is exactly the woman that Kevin Samuels was talking to. Accomplished, got all this money, but you're old and by yourself, gonna die alone. She act like we don't remember her outside 50 Cent Wonder begging him to goddamn holler at her. She act like we don't remember her history, Vivica. We was there. It was broadcasted, girl. We know that you a jump off, Vivica. She a jump off, man. So many people done hit Vivica. It's crazy. You can go through the list of who's who in Hollywood, and they done all slept with Vivica A. Fox, man. The man was a hypocrite, in my honest opinion. The hosts were discussing comments by comedian Marlon Wayans, who said that Samuels offered healing through nasty ass medicine. Can't nobody tell you what Kevin Samuels said was a lie. They always say it was the way he said it. So why I got to spoon feed you? Dr. Oz talk to people crazy as fuck. Yeah. Have you ever watched the Dr. Oz show? Man, Dr. Oz talk to people crazy as hell, man. Dr. Oz will tell you that what you're doing wrong, blah, blah, blah. You know, but because it's like Lord Jamar was saying about when Vlad was talking about Dr. Sebi, because somebody ain't went to one of these schools of y'all, where they got the right certification by people who y'all deem can give people certification, you don't want to take their credentials seriously. Right. Man, you can tell somebody how to live their life just because you done lived a life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just because you might done had other experiences that other people ain't had. People will say he done had a failed marriage. That's how he can tell you how not to have one yourself. Exactly. Somebody who ain't never been through nothing can't tell you about going through nothing. You know? But to me, I mean, calling people leftovers is a little harsh. I ain't gonna lie, man. When he said that. But if you look at the core of what he's saying, it's factual. If you are a 35-year-old woman and ain't nobody married you, then you are the leftover women, not him. You know what I'm saying? You part of that crew, because most women, when they were a kid, they pictured themselves married before 35. Don't nobody picture themselves single at 40, running around here still trying to go to the club. Then nobody envision that shit. So you yourself in your back of your mind know that you got left over. And the thing that really pisses you off most of the time, that you had a husband, but you didn't want that one. You know what I'm saying? Most of you had a nigga that was ready to do that for you, but you didn't want that one. You thought you could do better. And that mentality is the reason why you by your goddamn self. The fact that you didn't take the husband that God had ordained for you, now you got another history that's waiting on you. You ain't gonna keep talking about my boy Kevin, goddamn. Oh man, what's my next story, God? What's my next story? Kevin Samuels' death raises a simmering debate between black men and women. Yeah, man, they acting like before Kevin Samuels came along, black men and black women was just lovely, hunky-dory, wasn't no problems. You know what I'm saying? But I've been hearing for years that as soon as a black man gets some money, first thing he do is go get a white bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I done heard that for years. You know what I'm saying? So, if I done heard that, then I got to think that Kevin Samuels had nothing to do with the disconnect between black men and black women. I'm going to tell you what got to do with the disconnect between black men and black women. Black women that came up in a generation of not having daddies. Right. And it ain't because they ain't had daddies because the daddy didn't want to be a good daddy. It was the situation, goddamn, you know, project housing, daddy can't stay there. Goddamn, the system was set up where daddy couldn't get a good job. Daddy might have had to go to prison behind some humble shit. Everybody act like everybody who in prison went to prison because they deserved to. Everybody didn't deserve to. You know what I'm saying? It's a good bit of those people in there that didn't deserve prison. Some of them just deserved a good talking to, and goddamn, would have been great citizens.
Right.
But you put them in that situation to where now they throw it away. Most of the time because they couldn't afford an attorney. That not being able to afford an attorney thing got a lot of us in prison. But now, Kevin Samuels, the one thing he did, he made high value man be a phrase. You know what I'm saying? Nobody and the fact, yeah, you know, nobody ever thought of no man being a high value man. You know what I'm saying? But he put that on that right there, and if you so crazy that you don't think that a woman's value is based on her appearance, age, income, and number of children, then you's a fool. Them some of the first questions nigga gonna ask about you, and if he don't ask you, he looking at you and trying to figure out what he think they got there. He ain't gonna ask you how much money you make, but he gonna look at what kind of car you drive, he gonna look at how you dress, and he gonna assume around what money you make. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna, man, appearance is number one. If I can't look at you, I damn sure ain't finna holler at you. Age, of course. I had an old man tell me a long time ago, and none of old woman can show him where a young woman went. You know what I'm saying? I had an old man tell me that a few years ago. And if you don't think the number of children gonna play a role in it, shit, it will. You got a high value man is a man earning 6 to 7 figures on a good basis. Not just he did it one time. Like it's got to be consistent. He consistently makes this amount of money. His peers respect him. They know him. You know what I'm saying? That's all the things that Kevin Samuels said went into being a high value man. And his amount of children played into that too. He has to have no children.
Right.
So he got all this going for himself and ain't got no children. You think he want to be a stepdad? This man making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, up to millions of dollars a year. And you think he want to be a stepdad? Everything plays a role. I don't know why people act like it don't. It just, what a black man said is a problem. Now, my next story that I got, hospital apologizing for rejecting nurse due to her race 71 years ago. Betty Brown was rejected by Advocate Sherman Hospital in Illinois for nursing school 71 years ago because she was black. Well, she's still black. This year, the now retired 90-year-old is being named an honorary chief nursing officer by that same hospital. Oh, man. She went on to become a nurse still. But, you know, making her an honorary chief nursing officer is one thing, but how about we get a real black chief nursing officer? And how about you don't discriminate against the next one? And let her be the real chief nursing officer instead of making somebody an honorary something. All this honorary shit is just show shit for you to be able to put on and get an article in the paper, make it look good. Man, do something for real. I'm tired of all these blank ass, fake ass, just not real moves, man. It's not real moves to try to do anything for real. They did it, man. That's all I'm gonna say about it. They did it. Changing how black Americans use life insurance could help shrink the racial wealth gap is my final story for the day. Now, this is something I believe in wholly. You know, other cultures and everything, this is a lot of the way that they was able to get generational wealth.
Right.
You know, they passed down land and all that right there, passed down houses and all that right there, but they also have a nice life insurance. And the messed up thing about black people is that we'll put the whole life insurance in the ground. And that ain't what it's supposed to be for. Somebody's supposed to get a business, somebody's supposed to get a head start some kind of way. We got to start using life insurance and stop just buying enough to make sure we get buried. We got to start getting enough to where we can make sure we change some lives when we leave here. You know, when you know, that's why other than the fact that white people start turning black when they die. Another reason they hurry up and have that funeral because they want to go ahead and get that money started. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to go ahead and get this process going. You know, sure, man. But yeah, they do turn black after they die too. That's another reason. You mess around and hold grandma out too long, she'll be dark skinned as hell up in there. Yeah, man. Well, man, we done gave them an hour for today, man. I want people to really think about upgrading their life insurance because that's a real way. You know, back in the day, we couldn't get life insurance, but now we able to. And you need to check rates and do all that kind of stuff. You know, you can't just go with the first company to find out what you're doing. Find out how long it's going to take for that insurance to mature. You know, it's a whole lot of things to that. Don't just go out there and buy insurance and think you straight. You know, certain rules you gotta do. And please, people, stop borrowing off your insurance. Figure out another way to get it did. Don't borrow off your insurance. You're gonna mess around and mess the people up. You know, it ain't gonna be worth it in the end. You're doing that. Like I said before, man, we don't never want to be a stepping stone, man. You're doing that to be the stepping stone. You gotta bite that right now, man, and deal with it. You know, but Go. Do you got something to say to the people before we get out of here, man?
Nah, man, just enjoy y'all Saturday, man.
Yeah, man, enjoy your weekend, man. I done had fun with y'all kicking it this Saturday, man. And we out.